but everyone is doing
Those are all the
their
different
part.
denominations.
No, you've got the hardwood guys, the painters.
So this is why I think that there's so many different parties coming together. Whether they like each other or not, they're still building a community. They're still building a grocery store.
Against
And
their better
what's
wishes.
what's your position in construction? What do you do?
project management.
And you don't think the trades care about the guy before them or the guy after them?
No, they hate him. Screw him.
I've seen many situations where they do and many where they don't.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's up to myself to be a strong
The
leader
pastor.
and make sure that
Everyone
everyone
plays their part.
plays their part.
Okay.
This is why Jesus is so important because he was the true leader. He would.
Well, how did he lead?
He led with his actions.
What were his actions?
Well, first he would preach. Okay, he would talk about all the things that you need to do to obtain the kingdom of heaven. Okay, and then when it came down to it in the end, and the 12 stages of the cross, this whole death situation, I think that is so powerful what he did. And I know you're going to say, yeah, but he was meant to die. He knew he was going to die.
It's an example.
Okay, Ronaldo says this.
Who?
Ronaldo, the soccer player. I'm not comparing him to Jesus. They're nowhere close. But he said, listen, just hear me out.
Cristiano Ronaldo?
Yes.
Oh.
He said, I could give somebody the roadmap on how to reach the success I did, and they still wouldn't do it because there's so many lazy people out there. So you need some sort of discipline and faith to lead a team or yourself to get to where you want to be. And I think once you achieve all the I don't want to say success because I don't want it to sound greedy, but when you achieve some sort of
Why is success greedy?
because I don't want it to switch back into you need 4 or you have 4 cars and you don't need 4 cars and all that.
Okay.
You need to
What
be-
if someone has 6 cars?
God bless them.
Well, you just said they don't need it.
I think I said that.
Are you reversing it? Like you're saying, God bless them, but do you really need
No,
this?
I do. That's fine. They want to have 6. There's no problem with that. I hope to have 6 cars one day. But I'm saying,
Do you need it?
if
I'm
you
just kidding.
fix yourself, if you're able to keep yourself in line and have meaning in life, have your purpose, you will be such an example for other people. And that's exactly what Jesus did. That's why I think he's so important.
Well, how are you an example to other people?
I've tried very hard to keep a positive attitude.
So did Richard Simmons.
Well, there's other things that guy did wrong. I guess.
Casting
I
the
don't even
first
know who that
stone. I
is.
thought we weren't casting stones.
Yeah, whatever.
Put me under the bus. That's all right. But
How am I a good example? You just gotta lead with love.
okay.
That's what it's all about. Yeah, leading with love.
All right.
You want me to dive in?
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the point of this podcast. It's like we are skimming the surface. Let's deal with the hard topics. How do you lead with love? Like, if you tell someone that they're doing something wrong,
if you have something scheduled,
Let's do it.
no, don't
if you-
do a construction example.
No, but if you have something scheduled or something planned and everyone has agreed as per contracts and blah, 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 it's supposed to go a certain way. And then the unforeseen happens. I know in my company, that's not our problem. But to me, it's like, but if it's not possible, it's not possible. But it's like, no push. And it's like, then, which is fine, because I get it, because whatever, it's all business at the end of the day. Everyone just has a job to do. Some people mess up, some people don't. They have to take responsibility for it. I understand all that. But then there's sometimes where, the trade themselves, right? Because I work on like a low-rise site as a supervisor. So I'm actually working with the guys in the trenches, right? And sometimes they come to me and they're explaining the situation. And like, my heart will go out to them, but I know in my mind, it's got to get done.
Right.
And that's sometimes where, it depends on the situation, of course, right? Because some things you just can't control and things happen, whatever. Yeah. And people understand, I'm not saying that we always just, we're not the big evil guy, but, it's got to be within reason, of course.
Yeah.
And so it's like, that's one of the things that sometimes, but then you also had, then this other aspect comes in where it's like, is this guy just telling me this to get his way? And this is where sometimes you have that struggle where it's like, do you be the good person or do you call him on it and be the tough guy?
Well, what's your job?
Be the tough guy.
It could
That's
be
your
tough
job.
love. It's tough love. That's business.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You could still show tough love.
Tell this
don't-
guy, Joao.
Sure.
There's a Portuguese guy somewhere.
I'm
Call
not-
Fernando.
I'm not saying be a little snowflake and tell the guy, you know what, buddy, it's all good.
No,
we'll
no.
take the risk. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
you're ready, you come on by.
Yeah.
I'm not saying do that.
No, that's just like one example. I know that's not the best example.
You're
but, like,
right. It wasn't the best example.
Okay, you got a better one? What happens in your place of business that you
Well, I am at my place of business.
so
And-
give an example similar or better example?
I will give a non-specific example.
I thought I was pretty non-specific.
Well, I know it's a good example. I'm only teasing. I don't want to cast stones. Sometimes you have to tell a good worker that they made a big mistake, or even just a mistake. And I think there's examples that I can think of where the person was like mostly doing a great job, like even above the Call of Duty, if you will. But there was one area that's like you did 12 out of 10 in all these categories, but this one category you did 4 out of 10. And even though those 12s, you all take that extra, it totally fills your cup. But you only gave me 4 in this area that I really needed more than that. And that sucks. But then if you don't tell them, then you're not giving them that constructive support, and you're not, like, I would just be failing the clinic overall. Because if I have a vision and I have a means to do things here, and I'm giving someone a responsibility, I'm like, I need you to do this, and they don't do it, or they do something like a side version that wasn't what I asked for. If I don't call them out, I'm the failure.
Yeah.
Because if I'm calling a shop, like, or a chef, it's like someone, and they got a sous chef, and they're like, I need you to chop this stuff up. And they don't do it. And I'm like, no, I got to do it.
So why do we have such this understanding of work, but we can't translate it to faith?
Well, isn't faith often like how you practice it in all aspects of your life? Because, I mean, your faith and your study isn't just so that you become a priest. It's because you can become a better worker and husband or boyfriend or father or whatever. So the point is not so that you have all this knowledge and wisdom that is cool to talk about on a podcast. You actually can put it to work and know how to apply it. Because not necessarily black and white. Sometimes you don't know when to apply. Sometimes you do have to know when to be like, okay, I'll take it easy on this person.
Yeah.
Because even though they really needed to hear this, they had a bad week, and I know this happened. And I'm gonna crap on them when they're already feeling like garbage.
No. Kick them when they're down.
Maybe I'll kick them next week. I'll schedule that in.
Calling somebody out on something isn't necessarily practicing bad faith. Like you gave those examples there. When you tell them, you give them the opportunity to improve. And it's not always a bad thing. So, faith, I agree. Faith isn't just what you do on a podcast or what you practice on Sundays at church. It's got to be applied everywhere.
It's a daily.
Yeah, we can mix it up. We can't mix up constructive criticism. It's all about how you portray it. Obviously, if you yell at the guy, it's gonna be that's a problem. That's rude.
That's just communication.
But calling
tough
people
love,
out,
right?
Tough love. Yeah, that's
Firm and fair.
firm and fair. Yeah, exactly.
Does it always get construed as that? No.
No, it's all about your tone and how you say it.
Even
and
when
where
you're
you say
nice,
it.
to be honest, I'm always nice. Sometimes it's not taken that way. And other times it's taken as a clown. That's just how it is.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
it's
true.
tricky.
It's tricky.
Faith is not easy.
No.
Wow, we are so smart. I'm
Are we?
sure that a lot of people
I don't
have.
think we got any deeper than we were supposed to.
I think we grazed the surface.
Yeah.
We reached down.
Are we at an hour?
You got to go?
No. I don't know if I should bring on a new topic.
Yes, please.
You know what? We'll dive into like a mini topic. We'll go another 10, 15 minutes.
Okay. I think that faith has a direct resemblance with, I guess you're feeling like that. Okay, that's obvious. What am I trying to say? Faith has a direct resemblance or an attachment. There's chemistry to your will to live. And yeah, your will to live.
You can read it if it helps you to read it. What you were
Yeah,
trying
it's
to.
on page 2 here.
Yeah, please, don't feel bad.
There's a you often hear older people. In my experience, they've been grandparents where their spouse passes away, and they always say, people always tell them, be strong, right? Because now they're without them, their whole life is changing, and they tell them to be strong. Not oftentimes, but there's been times where, say, a woman's husband passes away, she loses all will to live. She loses all faith to live, and suddenly, maybe in the next 12 months, she goes too. There's a book that I was reading. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. The author is Viktor Frankl. He's a psychiatrist. He's a Holocaust survivor. And the whole point of the book, the reason he wrote the book was to share his experiences in Nazi concentration camps and to illustrate how finding meaning in life can help individuals endure suffering. Okay? One example here I'll never forget is he was working as a doctor. I guess because he was the closest thing to a medical doctor.
Oh, he was an actual doctor.
No, because he wasn't like a medical doctor.
Oh, so he
was
had
a psychiatrist.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
For
doctor.
patients who had typhus. Am I saying that right? Typhus?
Typhus.
Typhus, yeah. Thank you.
No, it's typhus.
Anyway, there was
You're fine. Keep going.
there was one guy who was pretty much bedridden, and he told Mr. Victor that he had a dream that somebody came to him, I think it was an angel or something like that, and said to him, I'll grant you one wish, what do you want? And he said, well, I want to be liberated. So the angel said, I think it was March 31st or March 30th, whatever day it was, you guys are going to be set free. So this was about a month out from this date. As the day started getting closer, news approached the camp that this wasn't happening. The war was still going on. Their suffering was going to continue. The day before, on March 29th, his typhus got so bad that he was pretty much written off. On that day, when nobody came, the next day, he died. Just like that. So what happened was, this is how Victor explains it. The expected liberation did not come, and he was severely disappointed. This suddenly lowered his body's resistance against the typhus infection. His faith in the future and his will to live had become paralyzed, and his body fell victim to illness.
I thought you were going to say that they got liberated on the 31st.
They didn't.
I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, in a
No, he
sense,
died.
he did get liberated.
Well, I mean, okay, sure, okay.
Right?
I mean, maybe not what he was looking for, but
But this is why hope and faith is so important, to believe in something, because it will force you to continue through your suffering on your journey. I guess it's more of a point I wanted to make. I don't know if we could really build off of this, but there was a
we'll see what we can do.
Do you think that the angel was meant to liberate, like, to the next world? Like, to the next, like, away from this world?
He was
the
hoping to
next?
be free
He was-
on
he was-
here, but
Yeah, but maybe that wasn't what was in the cards for him, and that's not
Yeah.
what the angel meant. And you take and you hear what you want, right? Like, you don't think about that. And then the thing is, it's like that's what God's maybe plan was for him the whole time, right?
Yeah.
And we will just not really understand it until it happens, right? And then maybe
well,
that
okay,
was-
let's go with let's pivot and use that idea. It's like, okay, let's say you're praying for something, you want something, but you didn't get it. What happens there? Has that ever happened to us? I'm sure it has.
Yes. Yeah.
And could we interpret or assess what that meant?
Yeah, sure. Maybe you didn't put enough effort into achieving it. Maybe I'd argue that you can't just manifest something. You need to work towards getting it. Manifesting will put your mind on it, but you need to take action to get what you're looking for.
Okay, so that's one interesting take on, like, you're going the route of you gotta, like, do what you have to do to achieve things. Like, let's say you did a program in school and you had to pass. You had to study. You could pray that you're going to pass, but you got to study. You can't just be like, give me the answers when I'm there.
Yeah,
I believe it.
No, it's
And then
both.
there's another aspect of this where it's like, well, what if you do pray for something and you want something to work out a certain way, and maybe it doesn't work out that way.
Maybe it wasn't supposed to.
Maybe something better came out of it.
Yeah. Are you talking about what Chanel sent the other day?
I don't know what she said.
She says something about that if you pray for something, you still need to work hard for it.
Okay.
Praying is not enough. And then if you pray for it and you work hard for it and you still don't get it, it wasn't meant for you. And
I love that.
That is God's decision. It was just never meant for you. You're never going to get it. Doesn't mean that you're not going to work hard or you're not going to learn something from it, right? Especially if you're working hard and you're leaning into something that you're just not that maybe it makes you suffer. It's going to make you stronger. So you might not get what you wanted, but it might give you the knowledge and strength to achieve something else that you need, and you didn't even know that was going to get you there.
So hardships can be a source of growth.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe hardships were taking you out of an even worse situation, and you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
How many times has something bad happened to you and you say, you know what, I could think of a million ways that I'd rather this happened, except for the way it did. What if those hardships are one of those million ways that it played out and it actually saved you from a situation?
It could have been worse.
I'll give you an example here. 2 years ago, my dad's truck got stolen out of the driveway. And
It was Nathan.
yeah, that's why you got two now. And it was very easy just to dwell on your sorrows and think about how terrible of a situation this is. But I don't even know why this came to me. I said, well, what if this was a situation that somebody was watching over my dad and took that truck out of his possession, took him off the road because something would have happened? Maybe this was the only way to prevent him from a worse situation.
Yeah, there's no way to know.
There's no way to know. But if you think about it like that, then at least you give yourself some positivity, some hope that strengthens your belief in your faith.
No, it's true. I mean,
I don't know.
It's true.
You know, when you say something and the last line you say, I don't know. I mean, you did
we
good.
don't know.
No,
I'm
but
not
it's
I
true.
don't know.
No, but it's true. So, and it's not even that. It's just that the whole thing about just you want something to go a certain way. It's like it's already predetermined. It doesn't matter how much you want it
Is that discouraging in any way?
if you let it be. If you don't just accept that he's protecting you and doing what's right for you, and you just go along with it, and that doesn't mean don't work hard. It doesn't mean, just, oh, that's fine, autopilot, he's going to take care of me. No, you still have to do the work. But at the end of the day, you don't know, like you said, it could have been a million times worse. And you have to just be happy that it's like that's the best way to think about it. It's like every time something bad happens, it's like, well, you know what? It could have been worse.
Yeah. That's what everyone breaks it down to that. Everybody's fine, everybody's safe, everybody's healthy. Take it.
Yeah, and it could even go further. Right? Even it could be like, why did this person pass, or something that you can't control, or that you just don't understand. And it's like you don't need to understand. It's just it was for that way for a reason.
You don't need to understand it, but it's very hard to accept. I've heard somebody say to me they had a sibling pass away, and they said to me, I got a real tough time believing in God because I just don't understand why they did this to me, or why they took this person from my life. How do you answer that? What do you say to that? That's like
but that's why it's like, again, like you said, that's why it's so important to have that faith, because once you get to that level of having a strong faith, is not, you're never going to understand. It's a matter of just accepting it to a degree, and it's not easy. Nothing about anything we've been talking about today is have anything to do with being easy or hard. It's about right and wrong, right? And you like that one?
I liked it.
And yeah, maybe it's just to strengthen you as a person, right? Like suffering is how you overcome and become stronger, right? And then, sometimes too, it's people, maybe they don't want to accept it and stuff. And the other thing about that is it's that suffering prolonged is suffering magnitude, right? So the more you wait, the more you procrastinate, the more you just like don't want to accept something and try to like, you know, avoid it, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse, right?
Right.
And that's why you have to have that faith, because that's where you can accept it. And I mean, it's again, nothing about being easy. Losing a sibling, I could not imagine, but like that's what makes you stronger.
Yeah.
And it's hard to fathom, but
Do you think that you'll find the answer one day, when maybe it's when your time comes and you're met at the gates? God will say to you, "This is why this happened."
I think in some form, yeah. Once you get there, you'll have a better understanding. Yeah, I do believe that.
I do think so too. That's crazy to. It's just so long from now. You know what I mean?
Oh, but we're only here for a blink.
It's a long blink. It feels like a longer blink.
Yeah.
No, but if you think about like it relatively, right? It's
Well,
not.
everything is relative, right? Because when you're in something, it feels forever, and then when you look back, it's like, oh,
Maybe that's what you have
remember
to-
back then.
That's what you have to master then. You have to master that, you know, you have to be bigger than that in the sense that you can't let that stuff control you, right? Because is that not fear? Like, oh, I can't wait for this day to done. I'm so done with this day. I don't want to be on this day. This day is just too much. That's all. You're just trying to, you know, jump through it. It's like, no, you got to lean into it, because that's what's going to make you stronger. That's what you're going to learn the lesson.
Just going
Yeah.
through it makes you stronger.
Well, you gotta stop, and you got to what's that word?
Persevere.
No. Well, yeah, but when you look back on what had happened,
Reflect.
Yeah, you got to reflect.
Is
on
it just that? Look back and reflect.
And then
What-
you gotta measure what had happened, and then you have to I forget my buddy used to say it all the time. What can't be measured can't be something else. I can't remember, but basically
I like it.
You got to reflect on it and then improve on it.
Yep.
Measured can be quantified or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Anyway,
What more is there? What do you think more is?
Well, I mean, a lot of this is like push through, and on our own, we probably will give up and fail multiple times a day, and we don't even recognize that.
But there's nothing wrong with failing. That's when you pick yourself back up, you learn from your mistakes, and you move
But this
forward.
is more like, I'm saying, like, I think I'm trying to pull us out of like a me centric as opposed to God centric. Like you're being carried through, and you don't even realize it.
Yeah. Well, that strength comes from somewhere.
it's very reassuring to know that God's got your back. But it's just funny how you don't seem to realize it until after the matter.
Yeah.
You know, like if
What's that?
The footprints.
Yeah, the footprints.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
Yeah. That's I don't know. That's why you need faith, though, because the faith will get you through it, and then or you'll remember the moments. Be like, you know what? He had my back after a similar moment. I bet you he's with me right now, and then you keep going.
Yeah, it's hope too, right? That you don't get discouraged and you don't look back and say you weren't with me. It's like, no, I know he's with me, because
If he's with us, are we with him?
I would hope so.
How?
How are we with him? With the way we live, right? The way that we react to others, and put into practice the teachings that we've been taught, right?
What you've been taught.
Like specifics?
Yeah, he always gets right in there, eh?
Well, it goes back to what you're saying with the golden
Skimming the
rule.
surface.
It goes back with the golden rule, the commandments, and right. Those are I don't want to say the basics, because that's the fundamentals, but like, it's knowing them. It's a different thing to put them in action. I remember once the priest was asking us, look at the commandments and which ones do you think you can improve on in your day-to-day life. And then he came back after we thought about it for a bit, and he came back and we were telling him, and it was like whatever, 3 out of 10, whatever. And he's like, so you don't think there's anything else you can improve on? And it's like, no, you can do better every day, and you have to put it
It's
into
a trick
practice.
question.
Yeah,
it
these are
was.
tough. These are so tough.
Yeah. No, and again, it's not easy, and that's why myself at least. I struggle with it, and I definitely have to, I think, dig deeper.
What does that look like? Because that's how I kind of wanted to end. What does dig deeper look like?
I think that, and I'm sure a lot of people will disagree, but it does have to do with practice, right? Going to mass and stuff, but it doesn't end there. I think for me, one of the things that I would like to do, and the excuse is always there's not enough time, but yeah, I would like to do more research about our religion in the sense of, what happened from Jesus's time till now, because I also think of our religion with the church and Jesus is completely separate, right? Because after Jesus was gone, it was run by man, and man is not perfect. And we know very...
Who left men in charge?
You know what? I'm not too sure, actually.
No, Jesus left.
Peter,
Yeah.
But
Peter did it.
He was the first pope, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that saints' bodies don't corrupt.
A few. That's not an automatic.
I heard all of them don't.
No. You know, technically, anyone who's gone to heaven is a saint.
I did not.
Yeah, because they're.
Or else they
holy.
wouldn't be allowed up there.
Was that?
They wouldn't be allowed up there. They wouldn't have made the
Well,
cut.
in a sense, yeah. Like, I mean, saint means that you are in heaven. We know that you're in heaven. So, like, publicly known figures that have died and that process that they become sainted, and that's like a recognition that, like, yeah, you can. They can intercede for us because they have some kind of. Yeah, they intercede.
I don't think you should be so hard on yourself. You sound
Wow.
like you're very hard on
Okay, that's
yourself.
nice,
Yeah.
constructive
Thank you.
support.
Well, I appreciate it, but
I don't think life's short. I think life is long. And
it's all the way you look at it. Yeah.
we got lots
The
of
long
time.
and short of it.
Yeah, and the long and short of it, don't be so hard on yourself.
No, it's also that I know that I procrastinate.
What do you procrastinate on?
Maybe the whole idea of improving every single day is too much to ask for.
No, like I do
Interesting.
agree. You start baby steps and you work your way up from there for sure. I
Take
agree.
it week by week, month by month, right? 12 months, that's plenty. That's plenty.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Now say something nice about Chris.
You're very prepared.
I like your.
You know what?
This is the organization that I need in my life.
I didn't even read all of it.
Yes, and
But,
for next
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are. You provided exactly what I hoped for today. So
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
And I'd like to do this again. You guys
For sure.
busy tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yeah.
That's okay. That's okay.
I had to push my today plans for tomorrow. I'm just kidding.
I guess she can wait. All right, boys. Until next time.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.